We're road2roota.com with your morning horn of Zeese, your sip of coffee. We're going to go through a different news outlet this time. Google News. Yes, I know that Google steers the news in a certain way, but it's always interesting to me to click onto Google News because they obviously track everything that you do, and it'll show you the things you're interested in, but given their slant on what is real news and what is unreal news. They should change fake news to unreal news. Anyway, let's go down to some Google News today. Trump's communication director is out as larger shakeup looms. Mike Dubke, President Donald Trump's communication director, has resigned as Trump considers larger personal shakeup to confront the growing scandals weighing down his administration. Go back to what I was saying right when Trump was adding all these neocons and everybody was shaking their hands, said, why is Trump hiring these people who he knows are in with the bad guys? I said at some point Trump will be firing. He's the biggest firer, the best firer there is. That was his job, to fire people. And he knew that if he put the people he wanted in right away, at some point he'd probably have to fire him because of all the battles that were going on. I believe Trump has now taken off the gloves when Comey was fired. Do your research on what happened to Comey and what he was doing and his history with the Clintons. He was knee-deep in all their bad stuff. So, yes, the firing of Comey was absolutely necessary, and it was a good sign of when Trump is going to turn and start doing what he said he was going to do. So, I don't know if this guy, Mike Dubke, is part of the bad guys, but clearly the shakeup is coming. Everybody's talking about it, and there are embedded bad guys who need to go. And yeah, now's the time for Trump to start that process. Ultimately, when Steve Mnuchin gets fired, that'll be the big sign because it's all about economics and market rigging right now. And Mnuchin is continuing the market rigging, but he will be going before the year's out. So keep an eye on that. And that will really be the sign that the tide has turned and will probably be in some kind of economic shakeup. Keep an eye on lots of things to keep an eye on, I know, but just keep watching and tune in every day to your Horn of Zeese, your sip of coffee from BIX, and I'll let you know. And this news that I read, I talk about it as it relates to the Road to Roota theory, to the theory that there are people behind the scenes working to take out these bad guys. And there's the weather for Oakland, as you can tell up there on the right over here. 50s and 60s. Looks like Friday we get up to the 70s. I mean, normally now we're like 70s and 80s for California, 90s even, but no, not this year. Everything's different. Noriega has died. Another dictator ousted by the USA. And we sit there and tell Russia don't meddle in other countries. We are the king of meddlers. The United States has always been the king of meddlers. Read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and you'll understand everything you need to know about the covert operations by the United States, by the people running the United States to overthrow countries, to insert our own people into those countries, to strip them of their natural resources. And if they don't do what we tell them to do, we go to war with them. It's really bad. Confessions of an Economic Hitman, John Perkins' book. You got to read that, and he had a couple follow-ups too. Read his books. John Perkins is the biggest whistleblower you can imagine from the deep state. Really important to read those books. Donald Trump just threatened Germany over trade. Here's what you need to know. On Tuesday morning, President Trump wrote a tweet saying that the United States had a massive trade deficit with Germany. He further said that it was bad for the United States and, in what seemed to be a vague threat against Germany, said this. Now, remember, Obama and Merkel were cozy, cuddled up, and working together to destroy humanity. Merkel is right up there at the top with the Queen and all that, Queen of England, as far as the bad guys. So keep an eye on that. If Trump says we're enemies with Germany and Merkel, then we're enemies. We should be enemies with Merkel. I believe. I mean, she was no doubt the head force at opening the borders, which is going to destroy Europe. Absolutely, and it is already. The Manchester bombing, terror attack or false flag or whatever you want to call it. I think people died in it, but false flag, people usually die in false flags. But the story we get on who did it and why they did it is always false. That's the false part, is the story of how it was done. How many people died, I don't know. I don't think it's the number they gave. I know it's not the pictures they sent out. So, yeah, everything is, you got to take with a grain of salt these days that comes out of the media as far as false flags. But people do also die in false flag attacks. So, you don't know what's real and what's not. Still, it's all part of the same thing. You open the borders to all, to immigrants and people who need it. You get a flood of everybody, including people who hate you. Germany and most of Europe is completely destroyed from within. And there's no way they can get these people out of their country, and it's going to cause civil wars in countries like Germany and Sweden and all those countries that open their borders because they're such nice people. It was all a plan. It was a plan to destroy their nationalism, destroy their culture, and destroy their country ultimately. And what happens when there's a lot of chaos? You turn to the government. Help us, government. And, more people get to vote that will lean towards a more open border. So, yeah, it's sad. Let's see. Texas state lawmaker says he received racist calls after a House floor scuffle. A Texas lawmaker said his office received racist phone calls on Monday evening, just hours after a fight broke out on the floor of the state's House of Representatives. Sticks and stones, my friends. Sticks and stones. They're going to use the race card every time they can, or the religion card. I'll never forget Donna Brazile, the CNN Clinton leaker who gave Hillary Clinton the questions before a debate or before a town hall discussion. I mean, talk about meddling in the elections. What about when Donna Brazile, the CNN plant, gave Hillary Clinton the questions beforehand? That's cheating. I hate to say it, but it's absolutely cheating. And when she was called out on it, she said it was a race thing, that people are attacking her. And I'll never forget, she said, as a Christian woman, I'm offended that you even accused me of that. I mean, what's Christianity? What's your religion got to do with you cheating in the debates? I have no idea. It was insane. And then ultimately she did admit to it, after the election. James Clapper, the criminal, former director of National Defense Intelligence, James Clapper, said there has never been a case of election interference more aggressive than that involving Russia and the 2016 presidential election. Bull crap. Absolute lie. We have meddled in every single election around the world. Whatever Russia did, if they did anything, we have done 100 or 1,000 times worse. We take people out of democratically elected leaders of countries. We'll take them out either with undermining their economic situation, or even killing them, assassination. Look at all the quote dictators in South America who died mysteriously in plane crashes. Again, read John Perkins' book. North Korea warns of bigger gift package for U.S. after latest tests. Yeah, that guy's crazy, and he is controlled by the bad guys. So I'm not surprised he's saber rattling. At some point, probably the good guys will have China take out Kim Jong-un, and we can move on. But that's farther down the line that's the final mop-up operations, if you will. And here for Google News are the suggestions for me. I guess it's what I look at. All right, let's see. Russians discuss potentially derogatory information about Trump and associates during campaign. The Russian government officials discussed having potentially derogatory information about the then president candidate Donald Trump and some of his top aides. The insanity of Russiagate is just it should be criminal. It should be sedition, which is against the law to try to overthrow our president, and it's starting to piss me off. It's pissed me off for a while. But I mean, it's hysterical watching CNN. Even the media is calling CNN fake news now. It is insane what is going on with the whole Russia thing, and people are kind of numb to it now. I mean, who cares? But it's all the only thing they got. It's the only thing the bad guys and the Democrats have to kind of try to get their power back. Russia, 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 Russia. It was long before Trump got into office. That was their plan, obviously. But there's really bad things that went on to set up that plan. So Trump is going to, go through the Comey emails and files and find out who was involved in this whole Russia sedition plan. Skyrocketing Bitcoin. Oh, here we go. Bitcoin's on a roll again, people. The pullback was, what, a week and a half? Yeah, it's going to roll up past the old highs. I think I got to, well, it depends on which exchange you're talking about. There's so many exchanges for Bitcoin. But like the main U.S. ones was $2,800, $2,900. In Asia, it got to close to $4,000. So yeah, Bitcoin skyrocketing. Skyrocketing Bitcoin is more than just an investment. It could help the world, says investor. Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency that has been on a tear of late, is not only an attractive investment, but is also a potential solution to easing the strange global. Yes, Bitcoin is a solution. Imagine if Greece had Bitcoin ready to implement to its people when it went begging for a bailout from the European bankster mob in the EU. It could have saved Greece all this trouble they've been having over the last 10 years. And the United States is going to be in that same exact position. Bitcoin will be there. Hopefully, the whole speed issue and cost issue will be fixed by then. I'm not crossing my fingers. It might, all it means is it will take a longer time for the people to adopt it. And most likely the governments will come in with their version of how to fix the problem. But yeah, Bitcoin will be there for decades. In Cliff High's data, it goes out decades, if not centuries. So you have the opportunity to get into Bitcoin on the ground floor. Bitcoin will be over $1 million a coin, and now it is $2,000. You don't need $2,000, $2,200 to buy some Bitcoin. You can buy $20 worth of Bitcoin. Go to an online exchange like Kraken or Gemini. Or you can even, the most popular is Coinbase. They've gotten a little better lately, as it calmed down a little. So yeah, Coinbase is easy to open an account, and go there and open an account. Just get involved in Bitcoin. If it's only like $20, $30, and you'll get to understand how to use it and do a lot of research. Go on to YouTube. Anybody who has a question about Bitcoin, before you come asking big questions about Bitcoin, go on to YouTube and do the homework. Do your homework. It's important that you learn how to, you can, what was it? Teach a guy to fish. You can give a guy a fish. You can feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, and you can feed him for a lifetime. So I'm teaching you how to fish. Go to YouTube and have any question you have about Bitcoin, about the cryptocurrencies, they're answered on YouTube, because there's so much educational information out there on what it is, how to use it, the ins and outs. So before anybody sends me an email, go on and learn everything you can about Bitcoin, because you're going to have to learn it at some point. It's either today or 5 years from now or 10 years from now or 20 years from now, or teaching your kids how, or your kids will probably say, why didn't you had an opportunity to learn everything about Bitcoin? Why didn't you do it, Mom, Dad, Grandpa, Grandma? Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you spend a couple hours to learn about the most important financial instrument ever invented since the invention of gold as money? And you didn't do it. So go do it. It's not going to take you forever. You'll get the hang of it within half an hour. Just there's some easy intro Bitcoin videos. Just go check them out. Or the more advanced stuff too. All right, moving on. I don't want to read about how Clintons spent their Memorial Day. I mean, that family is just so corrupt, along with the Bushes. And I used to be I used to hate the Bushes because they were Republicans, and then I hated the Clintons because they were Democrats. No, it's all the Democrat and Republican thing. It's all the same people behind the scenes. It's just the same other side of the same coin. They all work for the same people. They're all criminal to the point of murder and extortion and all about the money, and it's insane what's going on. So, keep abreast of where that Clinton thing is going. They're both kind of disappearing, getting older. If they're still alive, I don't even know if they're still alive. A lot of people are saying that Bill has recently passed away, but I haven't seen anything in the news, so we'll wait for that. Clinton probably passed away when she went down at the 4th of July thing before the election. But who knows? Who knows what's really going on behind the scenes? Clearly, it's not what we're being told in the media. All right. Well, that's it for the news, I think. But we have Oakland news, of course, because Google reads all of my searches. Oakland literally to have inmates running the asylum. Yes, I've written on how police are withdrawing, not going out and seeking crime, but pulling back. They are waiting until called, handing their calls for service. Yeah, it's getting bad in Oakland. I mean, you can't even do anything without being called a racist anyway. So it's a problem, and there's a lot of hatred towards police, and it is trickling down into the high schools and the junior high schools, and I think teachers are actually promoting the hatred of police ever since, definitely of Trump. They talk about how horrible the president is within our schools. It's so bad. Trump can fix this with some of his truth bombs. You know that the CIA and the NSA have every email of any person who ever sent an email. So they have all the information on who is fostering this Russian Gate thing. They have all the emails. Trump just released the emails. Let us be the big boys and decide whether or not this is criminal and who we should be mad at. I think at some point he will, but it's just frustrating waiting so long for all the truth to come out. Just release all 650,000 documents from Anthony Weiner's laptop. That would do it. That would save all this pain that Trump's going through, birthing pains. Just release the emails, and we'll know why Trump is doing this stuff. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. This is BIX. We're road2roota.com. Make sure you subscribe to the Morning Horn of Zeese, your sip of coffee. And we'll do this every day if it is available for us. And right now, the internet's up and running. Everything's going along, so we're going to keep doing it. Make sure you subscribe and go to road2roota.com website and get a free book just for signing up for the free emails. Everything's free. Go check it out. We'll talk to you later.